I'm not muted. Oh, there we go. How about now? Welcome to Talking Tuesday. It's going to be in black and white. There's not supposed to be sound. There's going to be text scroll. I'm old-timey. Also, I wasn't late. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm the only one who knows how time works here. Let's be real. So. Nice. All right, welcome to Talking Tuesday. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I hope you like the new style. It's vibing in here. I need some old music playing on vinyl in the next room. Is time real? Answers at 6. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about, it's one of the reasons why we're a little bit old-timey in here is because we're going to talk about the Waifu Wars. The Waifu Wars have been going on since the dawn of the internet. So, yay! For those of you who don't know what the Waifu Wars are, a waifu is an anime girlfriend or a video game girlfriend, and they've been going around for a while. They've made a shift in the last handful of years to be more like best girl of a show instead of everybody just arguing over of the plethora of waifus that now exist, which one is the best. And that's Yor, as of right now, from Spy X Family, if I recall correctly, is currently the one winning this season of waifus. There are also waifus that last a little bit longer and waifus that are forever waifus. The girls from Konosuba have actually done very well in that regard, but needless to say, we're going to talk about some OGs. The OG Waifu Wars, which was basically girls in video games and a handful of anime. And the two we're going to talk about are Tifa and Aerith. And the reason we are back talking about Tifa and Aerith after all these years is there is a trending Twitter hashtag called Cloud Loves Tifa. No, I'm not kidding. There it is. Let's put it on 3. 3 is better. Move this to 4. There we go. I'm not kidding. It do. It do be like that. Yes, real men commit to their waifus. It's true. This is accurate. We've got a whole trending hashtag for specifically Tifa because welcome to Final Fantasy VII the Remake. And I gotta say, this has been adorable. And then watching people fight over this again after so many years, hilarious. Hilarious. I mean, I totally got in on this. So I'm not gonna lie. I know exactly where I stand on this. I'm Team Tifa all the way. I always have been, probably always will be. Tifa is just a better person. But that's what I want to talk about today. Yes, this is live. Hello. I'm going to talk real quick. You're just going to go, all right, so. And you know, if I'm starting off a conversation with all right, so, you know, you know we're getting into it. So we're going to talk about why I just don't like, why this is not a real fight. Because I've seen people actually argue about this for real. And this is not a real argument. And the reason why, yes, Tifa is definitely Italy. Italy is Team Tifa. The reason why this isn't even a real argument is, one, listen, you can ship whoever you want. I'm going to start off by saying that. You ship whoever you want. You have whatever fun you want to have. It's fine. You're not hurting anybody. Go ahead. Have a good time. You can ship whoever you want to ship. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. However, seeing some of the actual people being real life mad about hooking up of two characters that are clearly written to be together by the end of the game is they're clearly upset about. The new lead director said Cloud and Aerith are dating, so Cloud Tifa tried so hard to trend Cloud loves Tifa, comedy gold, peak clownery. Are you real? Is this real life? Are people actually mad? Like, why are you angry that people are enjoying their little couple ship of anime people? I can't. It's so goddamn funny. How far am I gonna go before I get to not safe for work stuff? Because it's like, yeah, it's edging on there. But let's talk about the actual arguments, right? So I love that this is a real life debate that people are having. So Aerith has some problems in this ship between Cloud and Tifa and Aerith, between this love triangle. And mainly it's that she's dead. Spoilers, she dies pretty early on. But what I want to talk about is how interesting Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith are as characters, right? So Aerith specifically is a bad character, not in that she's poorly written. In fact, she's very well written. She is a bad person. She is selfish. She is ignorant. She is entitled. However, she is 18. She is 18. She is 18. She is incredibly sheltered and yet not at the same time. So if you take a look at where Aerith lives, so the first thing she does is lie to you. Like, the first thing she does is lie to Cloud. She's like, oh, you've fallen on my flower bed. I come here to pick flowers. This is the only place they grow. And then you go to her house, and there's flowers everywhere. So, there's that. But I digress. Her parents were killed, right? Her parents were killed by Shinra and Turks. Then her mom runs away and dies and she gets picked up by a lady who, sadly, her husband died in the war. He never came back, at the very least. Which is very mirror-esque of Zack and Aerith's, whereas they kind of got together and then he never came back. So she is also living in the slums. Now, horrible things happen in the slums. They don't show us all of it. They don't need to. It's heavily implied. You know that there's sex trafficking going on, human trafficking going on, if you want to call those different things. There is excess of gangs and starvation and not enough doctors and people dying of diseases that because they could get no sunlight, there isn't fresh water, very poor, etc., etc., etc. And Aerith lives in this gorgeous 2-story house surrounded by flowers with fresh water and sunlight. And nothing bad ever happens to her in the amount of time that she's living there for. Nothing bad ever happens to her. She tromps around, walking back and forth from that church all the way back to her place. I think it's Sector 8. And then she's got to go all the way up to the top of the plate to sell flowers and then comes all the way back down. And that's how they're living and that's how they're surviving on that income of her flowers. You don't know what her mom does. As far as we know, her mom stays home all day. You think that's what's going on? Hell no. Hell no. She is surrounded. The Turks are protecting her. Shinra is protecting her. They've been protecting her the whole time. They provide her the place to live. The reason her house and where it is safe is because the Turks and Shinra protect her. Surprise, 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 to nobody. So there's tons of horrible crap happening around her. And she's just like, well, none of it's ever going to happen to me. La, 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 la. And she's right. And she's right because she's being protected by the Turks. You think the dons of the plate of the sectors wouldn't want where she lives? Of course they would. But they don't get it. Why don't they get it? Because Shinra. Because the Turks are stepping in. All right. Now, she is dealing with hearing the planet suffering, which is kind of probably fucked up. She is dealing with Zack never coming back. She is dealing with an incredible amount of self-righteous entitlement with the brain pattern of an 18-year-old. And one of the best things about the way this character is written is that she comes off flowery enough that you don't notice how like toxic she is. And it's great. It's fantastic. I like the way this character is written. I love hating on her. God, she's terrible. The first thing she does is lie to you. Then she gets you to interfere and protect her from Shinra, who aren't harming her and have been protecting her for years at this point. And then just makes Cloud fight Reno because, haha. Then just Cloud's like, cool, I'm gonna leave. And she's like, nah, I'm gonna follow you. And it's like, you do know you're putting me and everyone else in more danger by doing this. Yeah, but you fell through the ceiling like that guy I like did, wearing the same kind of outfit, carrying the same sword. Hello, replacement for my grief. That's healthy. Very healthy. Very good. I approve. She doesn't respect your space. So depending on what because there are options, you can kind of pick and choose your answers to things. One of the options when you first meet her is like, oh, hey, who's Tifa? And you can say like, oh, she's my girlfriend, or she's a girl, or somebody, blah, 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 blah. She completely disrespects Tifa's existence in its entirety. So no matter what you say to her, she's just like, oh, okay, whatever. Didn't really care about your answer anyway. I'm just gonna do what I want. I don't understand. She goes through and you find out that she's the one who's like, oh, let's just put on outfits and go infiltrate Don Corneo's thing. Tifa's going there for a reason. Like, she knew exactly what she was doing. She knew what she was getting into. She's done the work. Like, she knows what she's doing. She's not a random girl that got picked up. She's infiltrating on purpose so she can get information. She's not new. But Aerith is just like, oh no, your friend. Let's go in. La da 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 da. Let's just go in and put that entire mission in complete danger. And she does. Because what happens? The three of you get chosen. You go forward. Then she interferes. And you get dropped down a hole. So what would have happened had you not interfered with Cloud and Aerith? Or Aerith. However, Earth Girl. Heart. Well, Tifa would have been able to get the information because there were no other competing girls and kick the shit out of him and leave. Trapdoor wouldn't have really worked for that because he would have been knocked out the fuck cold. She would have been able to warn everybody the plays were going to drop a lot sooner because she wouldn't have had to go through the sewer. And likely the majority of Sector 7 would have been able to get themselves out without any problems. Thank you, Aerith, for interfering. Yeah. Because, again, had she not interfered, it's likely that Cloud would have gone back to Sector 7 faster and would have known what Tifa was doing ahead of time. Because he would have fallen through the roof, into the flower bed, gotten up and been like, whew, that sucked. Better go back to Sector 7. And he would have made his way back to Sector 7 with no interference. He would have probably gotten back there at probably a pretty close time that they would have gotten back there, if not before them, or slightly after them, from blowing up the, getting attacked from blowing up the reactor. Second reactor, by the way. So, Aerith's interference. They may or may not have been able to prevent the plate falling overall as well, had they gotten to the pipe early enough. So, Now I'm talking specifically the original Final Fantasy VII, by the way. I'm not talking about the remake. I'm withholding judgment on the remake because I don't know if Aerith is going to end up getting a full character arc. Like if she's going to change between point A and point B. She might. She may not. So besides her pushy nature, besides her entitlement, besides her complete and flagrant disregard for what anybody else says, I'm going to jump forward to the situation because you can track this along, right? Jump forward to her going. She hands Marlene to the Turks, which is really fucked up. So because she leaves Marlene with her mom, who is being protected by the Turks, so she knowingly leaves Barrett's daughter with the Turks and Shinra. So, for those of you who don't know what that means, Shinra considers Barrett a terrorist because he is. And then she takes his adoptive daughter and just hands her over to them. Bruh. As if that's not a bargaining chip. As if that's not something that's going to like be problematic in the future. Luckily it wasn't, but she knew this. Aerith is the villain all along. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. She's a nightmare. She's terrifying. She's gotta get what she wants, man. Let's fast forward a little bit. We're gonna fast forward. I'm gonna jump way ahead because I think it's a little bit more relevant. I want to talk about relevant points because like there's the whole like their dating scene and they go on the date in the little thingy-madot. What's it called? The golden saucer. Go on a date in the golden saucer. If you take that date option, and it's like fine, I guess. Meh, meh. Kind of manipulative, kind of fuckedy, but you know, whatever. It's very like the whole relationship between Cloud and Aerith is very much very much tainted. Thank you. Very much tainted by her relationship with Zack in a negative way. Not that her relationship with Zack isn't fine, just that her projection of Zack onto Cloud makes his Mako poisoning brain, Mako addled brain worse. Like it worsens his condition, whatever you would call that condition. I'm not even sure. I'm pretty sure it's like amalgamation of like 4 or 5 different things. Who's dumber, Aerith or the Turks? All of the Turks or just a couple of them? It depends. There's a culminative stupid, and then there's just Aerith gets a little bit of a pass. She's 18. To be fair, and her worldview is really skewed by the way she's grown up. So, if you take a look at like the way Aerith treats Cloud, she very much walks all over him at any opportunity, despite his wishes. One of my favorite scenes is the scene in the when they're captured by Shinra and they're in the Shinra building after they go to save her. So Red, 13, and Barrett are in a cell together. Beside that is a cell with Cloud and Tifa in it, and then beside that there's a cell with Aerith in it. And Cloud and Tifa are having kind of an in-depth conversation about like some shit that's gone on, and like, oh my god, I thought this, and oh my god, I thought that. Are you okay? Are you okay? Shit's going down. And Aerith just bangs on the wall and is like, bitch, you talking to my man? She has no tact, no respect for their conversation, is clearly eavesdropping. And just goes out of her way to just stomp all over it because she doesn't care what conversation they're having. It's hilarious. I recommend checking out that scene just watch it in a bubble. It's so funny. She's got, jealous tween energy. It's really, really funny. She's very immature. And she's 18. It's fine. She's allowed to be immature. Again, her upbringing, very sheltered yet not at the same time. Oh, bad things happen in the world, but none of them ever happen to me, so it's fine. I'll do what I want and put everybody else in danger. Yay! And we see that more later on when she goes off on her own to go to the Forgotten what is it? The Forgotten Temple, Forgotten Forest. Yeah, whatever whatever the area is where she gets shanked by Sephiroth. So, in the scene in that part of the game, right when Aerith dies, she runs off by herself into a cave of monsters, and it's like, why? Why though? The answer is blatant disregard for anybody else's safety, because as far as she's concerned, nothing bad's going to happen to her. Okay. Lady, why are you doing this? One of the people in your party is currently very, very much struggling with the idea that he might be a clone, that his body is being taken over by the villain, and you're just like, fuck it. I got all the answers. I'm gonna go pray at this temple and summon Holy, allegedly. I don't buy for a second, by the way, that Aerith actually summoned Holy. I don't think that I press X to doubt. I don't think she did shit. I think that was just symbolic. It probably isn't, but that's my headcanon. Yeah, I think it's not the Forgotten City, is it? Me to look it up. FF7 for Forgotten City. Forgotten Temple, Forgotten City, Forgotten whatever. Forgotten. I forgot it. What do you want from me? Tifa says anything. How dare you talk to Zach's replacement? I'm calling the planet on you. I mean, kind of. It does come off a little bit like that. She's very much she's very possessive in that way. She called Holy to beat up Tifa. I mean, even that wouldn't work. Tifa's a badass. We'll get to talking about Tifa, but just a little bit more about Aerith. In that there's a little bit of a problem when it comes to her relationship with Cloud is forced from her end. It's disrespectful at best, manipulative at worst, and very selfish. And again, the flagrant disregard of the safety of everybody else in the party is a bit yikes. Little bit yikes. If she was with any other group of people, they'd be dead. They'd be fucking dead. But why are these traits not a problem with Zack? Because for the majority, she has the same traits. The grief is not as heavy, but for the most part, the same sort of overbearing traits exist. And the answer is because they're not overbearing for Zack. It's not a problem for Zack, because Zack is a stable individual who knows who he is, who knows what he wants, and has the right kind of personality to counteract or deal with or match. Match would be the best term. He's good. He's got a better personality for matching. Cloud is unsure and shy and tentative and quiet. Zack is none of those things. Zack is like, I know what I'm doing. It's squats. The answer is squats. The answer to everything is squats. Zack knows who he is, knows what he's done, and he's strong enough. So it works with Aerith because her being pushy to him is cute. It's cute for him because he's like, oh, you're adorable. Yeah, let's do what you want to do. This is no problem. He's not just folding to what she wants. He's consensually agreeing. That's not the case with Cloud and Aerith. Cloud is agreeing because he doesn't know how to confront or deal with that kind of a situation, especially at the beginning of the game. And you never see him interact with Aerith because she's dead before he actually kind of comes into himself, which gets a little bit retroactively messed up in Advent Children, but that's another. That's another. Advent Children is a thing on its own, and in Advent Children's defense, it's hard to go from fighting all the time to now we just need to stop. There isn't a fighting all the time and losing your purpose when what you do when you're a warrior and there's no war to fight. So I think that's a little bit of the wrap up with Aerith and why she's problematic and a couple examples. Tifa. Okay. Does Tifa have problems? Yes, that's what makes a character interesting. Same with Aerith. I think Aerith is interesting because she has these problems, and watching their interaction is interesting because they have these traits, right? But Cloud and Aerith getting together is incredibly toxic. It would be very, very problematic. Which is why that's just not the way the game is written and why the game's not set up like that, right? Tifa, on the other hand, is very steadfast. She's very patient. And she's not pushy. Which is kind of counteractive to what they do in the party. Aerith is a healer. She stays in the back, she heals, she hits some things with a stick. Right? Tifa is a forward fighter. She's a martial artist. So she punches, she kicks, she suplexes Ruby weapon. I suplexed to train. Right? Like, so their personalities are sort of the opposite of what you would expect from that kind of a combatant. Right? Tifa is very much a rock in a whirlwind, where she's just like, yep, this is what we're doing. And she has her own problems. She has some very, very deep-seated hate and very deep-seated trauma from what had happened in Nibelheim. I've heard the complaint that Tifa doesn't correct Cloud when Cloud is describing what the Nibelheim event right when you leave Midgar. And I would agree with that, except for she doesn't know half of that shit. She doesn't know about what had happened going there, like fighting with a dragon or whatever. She knows that Zack was there, but Zack is not in that story from the way Cloud tells it. She doesn't know what was happening inside the Shinra mansion. She doesn't have this information. The only information she has is Zack was there and Cloud was there. And she knows Cloud showed up from when you watch Last Order, right? She knows Cloud was there. So she knows that he had to have been there and the events that he's describing are correct to a degree. The confusing part is there is no mention of Zack. And so, keeping in mind that it's also likely that Tifa's also questioning her memory of what had happened, given her past trauma and the way what had happened there, right? She got attacked, she lost a lot of blood. It's likely that her memory of the events are not entirely correct either. So it would make sense that she's at the very least questioning or questioning her own thoughts on the matter. But most of what Cloud says and describes isn't wrong. Again, the only real thing that's missing is Zack from that story. And so Tifa only met Zack once and talked to him maybe twice, maybe 3 times. It's not like Zack was running around making friends with the fucking locals. He was in the Shinra in the Shinra mansion, keeping an eye on Sephiroth from what had gone on. So it's not like Zack and Tifa were like best buddies or anything like that she would have like that much knowledge. Yeah, we're talking about Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. We're talking Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa. So it makes sense to me that she wouldn't necessarily think she has anything to correct, right? And besides, Cloud was there. He was just a grunt, not a first-class soldier. And I can't really blame Tifa for not inherently knowing whether or not Cloud reached soldier after that event, or that she doesn't know the ranking system that well. Right? So I don't buy that. I don't buy that criticism that much. That criticism just is basically has to assume that Tifa knows things that she otherwise wouldn't know, and assume that her memory is perfect, which it's not. If we learned anything on this channel about memory, it's that memory sucks. People's memory sucks. So, what happens when Cloud has any kind of like memory lapses or any issues? We know what Tifa does, or we know what Aerith does. She goes off on her own to die. Tifa sticks there the whole time. She is constantly with everyone in the group and constantly checking on everybody. If you go and talk to Tifa at any given point during the game, when you get like downtime where everybody's just kind of standing around, Tifa is always like, hey, are you okay? Oh, I'm worried about this. Oh, is this person okay? There's very much a degree of responsibility that Tifa feels for everyone in the party. And she, particularly with Cloud, obviously the case, right? Like, obviously the case. She goes out of her way to make sure he's getting paid to be helping Avalanche. She picked him up and gave him a place to stay. Like, where do you think Cloud is sleeping? He's sleeping at Seventh Heaven. Obviously, there's like a lot of things that are not blatantly shown, but there's no way they're not the case. Right? So they don't show you how Cloud came to Avalanche. Right? He goes to Midgar and he runs into Tifa. Like, and then they're just working together. It's like, no. Obviously he had to have come to Midgar, existed on the plates for a little while, found it was unsustainable because he had no money, had no stuff, yada 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 yada, and then went to the slums to go get work, right? So he goes to the slums, and where's the best place to find work or get help in the slums? Seventh Heaven. So he goes to Seventh Heaven, and guess who's there? Hey, it's Tifa. Woo! So he goes to Seventh Heaven, walks in Tifa's bar, and she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, look what the fucking cat dragged in, you sorry sack of shit. What's going on? Right, in the remake you see Tifa giving Cloud a place to stay. I'm withholding judgment. In the remake, she also tells Cloud, here, you're getting paid, but also you can keep any money or any drops from any of the monsters or anything because you need to get yourself set up. So she's doing even more than that. And again, you see that to be the case even in the first one. It's just way less obvious. Well, it's very obvious, but they just don't show it as clearly. You see Tifa fighting with Barrett to make sure Cloud does get paid. There's the interaction with them as kids and all that fun stuff, and then there's the interaction with them when he's recalling the story about being in Nibelheim. There's the kid with the dolphin side. Well, it's not really a side quest. The dolphin that does the jump. That shit. That was a thing. Anytime you see Cloud get his little, my head thing, anytime Tifa's there at least, which is the majority of the time, she's just like, yo, you're okay? Like, are you alright? You okay? I haven't played through it yet, so I'm withholding judgment until it's all out anyway, but I haven't played it all, so I'll be playing it soon. I digress. I'll let you know what I think about it. It can't be worse than Kingdom Hearts 3. Don't get me started. Alright, so Kingdom Hearts. So that's actually relevant, by the way. I saw some people posting Kingdom Hearts pictures of Aerith talking to Cloud. Well, Cloud is running around and Tifa's chasing him around, and Aerith is like, "You know what you're doing, right?" And he's like, "No, bye." I saw that somebody posting pictures of that, being like, "Oh yeah, see, Aerith and Cloud are together in Kingdom Hearts, and it's pictures from Kingdom Hearts 2." And I'm like, did you not play Kingdom Hearts 2? Because in Kingdom Hearts 2, you play through a section where you get to play with Cloud and Squall and Yuffie and Tifa, and you get them in your party for one little section to fight Heartless, and then at the end of the ravine, you find Sephiroth. And Cloud is like, yeah, this guy. And so Cloud's fighting Sephiroth, and he's not doing so hot. Then Tifa shows up. Anybody who doesn't know, the symbolism in Kingdom Hearts is not like it's not the most subtle thing in the world, right? It's like, it's all about light and darkness and friendship and love and woo, Disney. And so what happens is that Cloud is fighting. He's having a hard time. Sephiroth says, "You can never get rid of me. I am your darkness. This is who I am. I'm not just like, I exist no matter what you do." And Tifa shows up, and when she shows up, Cloud looks over, and there's a flash of light, and he's like, "Tss," basically. Because that's what she is. That's what she does. They're fighting, and Tifa steps in to 1v1 Sephiroth, holds her own, jumps back, and is like, "Don't worry," like, to give Cloud a second to like recover. And she says, "Don't worry, you can use, like, if you don't have enough light, you can use mine." It doesn't matter, like, it does not matter to her. And so what does he do? He starts glowing, and then they fly off to go be in Smash Brothers together. And then Sora shows up. Never mind, I'm not going to go into that. Shocker. I know. Who'd have thought? And then Sora's like, "Oh shit, you spent all that time looking for him. Now what are you going to do?" And she's just like, "Cloud's going to be Cloud. I guess I'm just going to keep looking. I'll see him later. Bye." Oh yeah, here's a Keyblade. That's only if you defeat Sephiroth, though. You only get that clip. But she's like, "Okay, whatever, bye. Bye." And she's like, "It's no problem. He's got to do him. It'll be fine." So there's like a level of just belief. And this is all like, I would not consider this canon to Final Fantasy VII. What I would consider it is canon towards the characters. Like, this is who they are, no matter what world you put them in. You want another example? Dissidia. Yeah, that game that Aerith isn't even in. Guess who's in Dissidia? Cloud and Tifa. And guess what happens? Spoiler alert, Cloud is evil and working with Chaos and Sephiroth. And then he has to fight Tifa, and shit gets weird. And they're just like, Tifa's like, bruh. Because they don't remember each other. Because that's not the way Dissidia works. And they get a whole thing. They get a whole thing together. And it's adorable. Watch the cutscenes. Do it. It's great. But how could you possibly try to argue that Tifa and Cloud are not a thing? I don't understand. But she retains these character traits. She retains this sense of responsibility. She retains this sense of she's solid. Again, she's a rock amongst a tornado. So if we talk about Cloud and we talk about where he's at, right? Like I said, Cloud is shy. He is quiet. He's not very confident in himself. He's confused most of the time. Just in general, he doesn't say a whole lot because he doesn't know what's going on. He's just like, okay, all right, yeah, let's do this. He he has skills. He is certainly good at what he does, but he doesn't know how to handle himself in the majority of situations. Like Cloud would fail an interview at a regular job. Like just pants on head. would not be able to handle it. But Tifa works around this. Aerith doesn't. Aerith doesn't know how to work around this. Aerith is used to Zack, who is confident, who is self-assured, who has a military career, who is like a well-established person who's like, yeah, I can do anything. Yeah, whatever. And you see Cloud kind of act like that a little bit if you pick those options. But even then, it's still like, it's not that convincing. It's a poor guy. But he's dealing with memory issues. He's dealing with personality issues. He's dealing with a lot of trauma and post-traumatic stress. He's dealing with Mako poisoning. He's dealing with, like, how many times did that man get thrown in the live stream? Twice in the same game, and then kind of one other time. He just woke up from being comatose, seeing his best friend die, and then he just wanders into Midgar and is just like, okay. And what's the last thing that Zack tells him? You're my legacy. Go live life. And Cloud is like, well, I guess I have to live your life now. And so he's like, I guess I'll go do that. And it's like, that's not healthy. That's not okay. So that, like, this poor man has been through some shit. And the last time he was awake, Tifa was dying, Zack was dying, he fought Sephiroth, and his town got burned to the ground. Then he was comatose. Then he woke up to that. And who picks him up? Tifa. Of course Tifa picks him up. Like, of course she does. And how long was that man comatose for? A while? A while. Was a while. A couple of years? And again, that's not to discount that, like, all of the characters in this have, like, some serious trauma. Except maybe Sid, but I'd have to double check. But Sid's got his own problem. Sid's got some anger issues. But Red 13 has trauma from his family. Like his parentage and Shinra. Barrett has trauma. A lot of trauma from his time in Coral. And dealing with Dean, I think his name is. And taking care of Marlene. Tifa has trauma from Nibelheim. Cloud has trauma from being Cloud. Aerith has trauma from just witnessing everything that she witnesses on a regular basis. She lives almost whimsically, which is some kind of form of denial, in that she's like, oh, I just do what I want and I get what I want and fuck everything else. Vincent has trauma. Yuffie has some trauma from the war with her people. And the last one left is Kate Sith. And, Kate Sith is annoying as shit. Nobody cares about him. Reeves is interesting, but Kate Sith is a nightmare creature that needs to go away forever. And again, this isn't because I'm not doing this because I hate Aerith. But I hate Aerith. Because she's well written. She's a well written character that makes you think, sets up this expectation that she's a flowery, bubbly girl surrounded by scum. Like, she is set up to appear to be a light in a bit of hope in a dim, dreary world that is going to shit. And in her defense, she does an okay job. Like, she is hopeful. She wants things to move forward in a positive way. She wants to help the planet. She wants to fuck over Shinra. She does that. However, she's not perfect and she's got problems, and those problems are projected onto Cloud, which he does not consent to. He does not consent to his time with Aerith. Aerith just forces it upon him. And she interferes. And the way she interferes, due to her ignorance, naivete, both negligence to what's going on around her, how young she is, causes more problems and causes far more conflict than would otherwise be the case, including people fucking dying. Everybody gets trauma. Everyone's got trauma. Yes. Yes, they do. Everybody. Every person. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't. And I think it's an interesting deconstruction, or what is it when you there's a word I'm looking for, when you subvert. It's very subversive. That's why she's the healer. It's to subvert your expectations. You expect her to be this soft, flowery person who's just there to help everybody, guys. But then when you actually look at what she does and what she says, she's incredibly selfish and rude and kind of mean. But when you look at what Tifa does the majority of the time, the most rude she gets is when she's telling Shinra employees to go fuck themselves. Her fight with Scarlet. Like, besides the fact that no matter what happens in that game or what options you choose, Tifa stands by Cloud when he is sick, saves Cloud multiple times. Like, her expectation was or what she wanted was somebody to come save her. She spends the entire game saving other people. And it's that situation of, like, you give what you want. She wants people to care about and rescue her when she's in a bad situation, when she's in a tight spot, particularly Cloud. That's a conversation that they have. But what happens in the game? Cloud shows up in Nibelheim with absolutely nothing. Tifa saves him. He shows up to deal with... he falls. She grabs him. The whole event under the high wind happens. There's so many... She saves him from the live stream. He goes comatose due to the live stream again and makeup poisoning again. And who sticks with him? Tifa. The whole time. She spends the entire... She fucking saves his goddamn brain from when he's like, I'm stuck in my own memories and I don't know what's real anymore. And she's like, oh, all right, hold on. She's like, oh my God, help me, help me, help me. She's lost in the live stream and she's like, I need somebody to save me, help me. And that's not what happens. She hears Cloud calling out for help and she's like, well, time to drop my own concerns. Goes towards Cloud and is like, oh, this is a problem. Roll up our sleeves. Let's deal with what's going on here. Film Freak, that may be the case. I'm not 100% sure. I've seen some of the clips of the original manual, but I don't have a hold of it. I don't know. Just the fact that this had a whole goddamn hashtag and we're really gonna get back to actual waifu wars. I'm like, oh please. Let's watch everybody fight over this all the time. Like, really. Cloud wakes up and she's like, cool, let's go, bro. About time. Let's just ignore that Cloud is only really responsive to Tifa also. Because that's a thing. there's certainly a degree of like disinterest. Like if you look at the way Cloud interacts with Jessie, for example, who I'm not even bothering to talk about because like she's not I mean in the remake she gets a lot more time, and so perhaps again like I said, I'm not considering the remake right now because that's going to be let's wait to see where that goes before hyper analyzing it. But the way Cloud responds to the women in the honeybee, the way Cloud responds to Aerith, which is with at best disinterest and at worst like please stop, like like I don't know how to deal with you, please move away from me, which she does not respect. The only person he actually concerns himself with is Tifa and what Tifa thinks. He doesn't take. He argues with Barrett and is like, "That's a why would we do something like that?" And Tifa's like, "Well, maybe this." And he's like, "Great idea, Tifa. Glad you thought of it." Like the same thing Barrett said. You just even the way Cloud interacts with every other person, he does not interact that way with Tifa. He's disinterested in other people. He is not very social at all. You don't see him have these in-depth conversations that he has with Tifa that he has with other party members. It doesn't happen. They talk to Cloud. Cloud doesn't talk to them. So they literally live together and have 2 kids. I don't know how you could be more clear about what goes on here. Marlene and Denzel. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna tell Aerith Cloud fans not to enjoy their ship. You can enjoy your ship. Just know that you're wrong. I have ships that don't sail. It's okay. That doesn't mean they're not in my headcanon. But I don't go around and bother other people and say that this has to be the case. Like, you really don't actually see people being angry about people making art of Sephiroth and Cloud together. Like, why would you be mad about that? Okay. That's not a problem. This man is homeless with literally nothing and she fucking takes him in. And then turns him into a terrorist. To be fair, he would have been wanted by Shinra anyway if Shinra knew where he was. I don't even really think they were chasing him that much. They were chasing Zack. No, boy. Oh my god, Dissidia. It's Dissidia 2, by the way. I definitely recommend watching. Just watch the cutscenes of Cloud and Tifa's interactions in Dissidia because it's hilarious. Do watch it. I don't know why people think they have an argument. Yeah, the couple spent the night together under the high wind. Cloud, words aren't the only thing that tell people what you're thinking. They had sex. Just wanted to say Sephiroth was deeper in Aerith than Cloud ever was. Deeper than Cloud ever wanted to be. I think that's what we're getting at. Cloud wasn't interested in Aerith. He never was. Didn't want to be anywhere around her. She forced herself on him, which is one of those things where I think it's like this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about was that yeah, she legitimately just completely ignores his boundaries, pushes him into spending time with her and talking to her and listening to her and forcing him to deal with her bullshit, and she puts everybody in danger. And it's cute? This is toxic as hell. Let's be fair, Tifa and Cloud were childhood friends. Yes, so. I knew a lot of people from when I was a kid. I wouldn't want to fuck them. Partly because I've known them for that long. Just saying. More like Aerith loves Tifa because pointless shipping wars lead nowhere and y'all are pathetic for trying to bring it back. Glorious. Glorious. I don't know, man. I don't know about Tifa had a big sister mother relationship with Cloud. She definitely had a Tifa's relationship with Cloud is very much one of someone who is stable and someone who is not stable getting to the point that they are. So she spent a lot of time um, taking care of him, taking care of what had gone on, and being responsible for him in a I don't know if I would say in a caretaker position. But that ends after they get out of the life stream. Particularly that there's a reason why they don't fuck before that is what I'm getting at. Tifa does respects Cloud's boundaries to the point where she does not push herself onto him or take advantage of his instability. What happens is that they fight together for years, and then when they fall into the life stream together and Cloud gets his mind sorted out, he then knows how he feels. She then knows how he feels. And then after a little while and some cooldown time, they reciprocate and move forward with a relationship from there before they go and fight Sephiroth. That's where that Highwind scene is. So it's not until that point they actually move their relationship forward, because they do not move their relationship forward until Cloud is in a stable place. So yeah, very much she is in a role of she's in a role of caretaker, but I don't know if I would call it sister or mother, specifically because Cloud's view of Tifa has always been one of romantic feelings from the beginning, and you see that when you see the flashbacks. You see that as a kid, and they talk about it. Chesh's childhood friends were lurking, and now they're sad. Good be said. But yeah, it's very much like a God. There's a word for it that I'm not remembering. That's not like, it's not mom. It's not caretaker. It's a maternal, I think is the word I'm looking for. She treats him very maternally until until he's stable, basically. Until he's stabilized, she's very much cares about him, but stays. There's a barrier there that they both maintain until he knows who he is and what he wants and is able to get to a point where he can move forward, which I think is fantastic, in my opinion. I think that's well handled. Hell yeah, Waifu Wars, we're here. Final Fantasy is really about mental health and how people should be supportive. Yeah, actually, there's I don't know if that's what the story is about. It's about a lot of things, but it is very much a journey of a lot of broken people saving the world and becoming better people by the end, except for Aerith because she dies. Maybe she won't die in this one. Who knows? Not a Dami mommy. I mean, she might be, but what they do in the bedroom isn't really spoken about. Even in Advent Children, you can see that Tifa's just generally a maternal-esque person, right? She takes care of kids, she takes care of people. The way she behaves in the bar is that she's still taking care of the patrons of the bar. Johnny, for example, if you talk to him in Final Fantasy VII, side character. it is a major theme. Mental health, healthy and unhealthy interactions, and how to do so, and overcoming those things. It's not really a how-to guide, but there are definitely like things that work better than others, and those are portrayed in the story. Hey, yeah, listen, they're kinks in the bedroom or something a little bit different. But yeah, no, Tifa's a very, I mean, she takes care of Aerith as well. She takes care of everybody. She's a very maternal person. Um, she does treat Cloud a little special. You don't see her threatening Cloud like you see her threatening Barrett. But it is definitely a testament to how difficult it is and how strong of a person you need to be to support somebody in that in an unhealthy headspace with no guarantee that they're ever going to get out of it. Yes, yes. Tifa is the heart of the party. She's, yes, she is very much has the same kind of tempering effect on Barrett. As Barrett starts going off and she's like, "You need to stop now," and he's like, "Okay, yes, mom." There's always a party mom, but that doesn't mean that you can't. They're not a person. It's always a party mom. I just like that the party mom in this one is also like, "I'm gonna punch you in the face and I'm gonna suplex a train." I absolutely 100% love the Aerith and Tifa's personalities being the opposite of what you would expect from their fighting styles. I'm a fan of that, excuse me. Nobody likes Sword Art Online. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on Sword Art. All right. I think I've made my point. I think I've made my argument. I am more than happy to discuss this with people further, but I wanted to make my point about how Tifa is best in grill, Aerith is a trash person, but that makes her an interesting character, and makes her interesting to talk about, and dissecting like some of the shit she does and the shit she says. I absolutely 100% recommend rewatching, like when you replay the game, and look out for listen to what Aerith actually says and what she actually does, and pay attention to how Cloud responds to it, because I think people kind of brush it off as it being like tsundere or being cute, and it's like, no, that's not that's not what this is. And I definitely like recommend a replay or even just watch the cutscenes. You can find it on you can find it. I'm playing through in my playthroughs, Tifa and Aerith are always naked. Hey, that cute. Aerith is 18, but hey, you know, whatever. You do you. Not hurting anybody. SAO shaped our generation. Bullshit. All right, next topic is Sword Art Online and why it sucks. I'm kidding. We'll do, if I'm going to talk about Sword Art Online, I'll talk about the good stuff and I'll talk about the bad stuff. All right. Also, there is no best girl in Sword Art. I don't know if you noticed. There is no, they all are bad. None of the girls in Sword Art Online hold a candle to even like the girls in a comedy isekai, Konosuba. Like, are you kidding me? You give me a list. You tell me why. Leave me a comment. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm right. Tell me what I forgot about, because like I didn't cover the whole game. I mean, I could do a walkthrough, but I don't want to. I just wanted to have a chat. God. Do you take the elevator or do you go up the stairs? I like going up the stairs. I like going up the stairs. I just like listening to them all fucking complain. Like, there's somebody who was making the argument for Cloud and Tifa was just like, yo, look at how the majority of Cloud's dialogue is just saying Tifa's name. And it's just like, oh, she gets a heavy breath and he's immediately concerned about her. I'm like, that's adorable. So like they're climbing up the ladders and they're going up the stairs and shit, and Tifa's just like, huh. And Cloud's like, Tifa? Are you all right? Are you okay? I love it. I love it. Vanilla playthrough of fucking Final Fantasy VII. I don't know, man. Go get Knights of the Round, go do all the side quests. I feel like if I was gonna play Final Fantasy VII now, I would use a walkthrough because I'd just be like, I'm not even gonna. I don't even figure this shit out. It's been too long. All right, go watch the cutscenes from Dissidia. Go watch the cutscene from Kingdom Hearts. And enjoy your ship, man. Enjoy your ship. You sail that thing. You sail that thing. It's okay. I believe in you. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day, everybody.